I have a very big head. You go!
I'll never forget you, Habs.
There he is.
I am here. And you were there. And so is Nick Cage.
Mark, such a pleasure to meet you. Jeff Howard in Las Vegas. I have been a lifelong fan of yours. And
Oh, thank you, Jeff.
so this has just been a dream come true. So thank you for joining me today.
Oh, of course, my pleasure.
It's funny, I've been a film score fanatic my whole life. And back in my early college days in the late 80s, my very first journalistic endeavor was writing an article for Film Score Monthly. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
And it was an interview with Vic Mizzy, believe it or not.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So my passion for film scores goes way back, and you're just one of my idols. So thank you again.
Oh, it's my pleasure to talk to you.
Well, we're here today to talk about the incredible film from Nicolas Cage that you scored for massive talent. And, meeting with the director, tell me, how does the process begin for a film composer and that relationship with the director?
Well, they came to me after having another composer that it didn't work out with. So I think they were a little tested for time and really needed to know that this was going to work. So they sent me some scenes of the film. Actually, they sent me the entire film because I said, look, I've read about this film. I've read the two-liners about it. That I know already that's not enough for me to tell you how this should be done. So I watched it and I pitched that this needs to be sort of a score that relies on the tradition, relies on the tried and true things of the masters. And I specifically thought of Morricone and Lalo Schifrin and some of these guys who've done the iconic westerns and who've done the iconic chase movies and who've done the thrillers, because that's what this is, all wrapped up into one. But how do you keep it lighthearted and humorous? Well, you pay homage to music that may sound just a touch dated, but we'll keep it right on the border, right? So you'll feel all the adrenaline of modern scoring, but you'll also have this wink wink with you all the time. And it worked out. The pitch, they loved the pitch, and the first pass I did, they loved it. So the hard work there was done, and then it's just a matter of 67 minutes or whatever it is of music.
Well, it's not usually a luxury. Sometimes composers don't get to see the film, correct? Sometimes they just see snippets of it, or even if just a script.
Yeah, in order to make that first pitch. So, but I knew that was going to be unsuccessful. I just knew that this is such a unique. I've never seen a movie like this before, so it's sort of had to be studied from the inside out, as it were.
Well, I noticed your score was everywhere from maybe like a romantic kind of theme to a chase theme to my favorite part was the black box. I heard that. Yeah. I mean, I noticed the score in this movie. And sometimes it was unconventional. I'm like the tonalities, and I'm like, it depended on the situation, because this movie is like a roller coaster.
It is, and I one of the things that comedy that's allowed in a comedy score that perhaps in a dramatic score it was be a bit off-putting, is to mix things up. You can change style of a cue all of a sudden, and in this sort of movie it's funny, it makes you laugh, and whereas in a drama it might pull you out. You might think, oh, what just happened? So, but in this case, the ability to switch gears and go in between genres and yet sort of try to keep it all feel like it all belongs in this picture, that was a challenge, but fun to do. Was
it considerations for time restraint and budget when you consider using an orchestra versus like computer technology for a score?
No, I wanted the warmth and the heart and the size of an orchestra. I mean, at the heart of this, I'd like to think of this as a buddy movie. It's these two guys, very unlikely, who meet up, and it turns out they become best friends. And then they have to experience life-changing events together. And it's the fact that they're going through it together that makes the heart and the warmth of this story.
Now, is it a collaborative effort with the director on a film score? Take example for Massive Talent. Was it something the director had ideas for, or did you just present something to him and said, that works perfectly?
On this, it was totally collaborative. Tom has spent a lot of time with music, temping, putting temporary music in and experimenting, and he had some very strong ideas. He liked my pitch, but he still had idea after idea after idea as we went through the whole thing. He was very much hands-on. Not all directors are, but he definitely is a hands-on guy.
And you've worked with some of Hollywood's biggest directors. I was looking at your filmography, Mark. It's overwhelming, from Robert Redford, Jodie Foster, Sidney Lumet, Robert Altman. Is there anything that stuck out for you in your career that was just an amazing experience for you?
Well, I was thinking of this as I was answering your last question, because another Nick Cage movie that I scored was The Bad Lieutenant, and that was directed by Werner Herzog. And there's probably no more different director between Tom Gormican than Werner Herzog. Werner came to the house one day and said, "It is the bliss of evil. I shall return in a few days." and that was about all the direction I ever got from him. And he just wanted me to do the music, and as long as it fit his idea of what it should sound like, he was happy with it.
Yeah, that's an amazing film. Yeah, it's something you don't forget.
Yeah.
I have to say, my experience with you going back, being a film score fanatic, I've never forgotten the film. Seeing it in the theater and hearing the score for the first time was Never Cry Wolf. I mean, it's just one of my all-time favorites. And looking at your filmography, was that your first film score professionally?
That was my first film score.
And working with Carol Ballard, any special memories from working on that first film?
Well, it was a trial by fire. I mean, Carol hired me this is a Disney film. So, they said, hire John Williams. It's fine. We'll pay for it. We'll find the money for John. Just finish this film, because Carol was taking his time on this thing. And he said, no, I've got a better idea. I'm going to hire this young guy who's never scored a film before, and his main medium is electronics. And I think they just threw up their hands. But Carol got his way, and he coached me through this. And we've remained friends to this day, because I just love Carol. He is just such a marvelous director and a marvelous human being. He really did teach me that art of film scoring in 4 long, arduous, grueling months, but we got through it. And he got the score he wanted, and I got a career.
And not only that, your score got so much attention, because that movie was just, it was really an amazing, not only from the wildlife and the cinematography and Carol's incredible direction, but your score was this haunting, kind of isolating. It just really made an impact, and it's still on me, and I love that score. So, Mark, congratulations. Thank you for talking to me today. And this has been a total thrill, and let's do it again soon.
I'd be delighted. It's a pleasure to talk to you.